became interested really in talking about partition with my mum when I was doing my MA. My mum had always told me stories about partition when I was growing up. And she started telling me stories when I was quite young. And some of the stories actually were quite horrific because obviously it was a really violent time. And some of our family members died on the journey to what stayed as India. And she started telling me those stories when I was young. My granddad, my Papaji, decided that it wasn't safe for them to carry on staying in Lahore. Their neighbours, their Muslim neighbours, had said to him, "It's not safe for you. There's trouble coming, and when it comes, we won't be able to help you." My dad's family all met in Amritsar. They all left Lahore separately because there were so many of them in the family, and they agreed to meet in Amritsar.
My father, he was from Jalandhar area, and they were farmers. So they were like 6 or 7 brothers, 4 or 5 sisters, all in the same area. And then when they heard all the trouble started after the partition, they moved to Pakistan fairly quickly. They did see things going on in the background as they were traveling in bull carts, tangas. So they traveled in those, and they used to travel at night time and then hide during the daytime. They saw people being sort of killed or taken away forcefully, but their family itself survived, and they came to Pakistan in fairly early times and fairly quick time.
My granddad used to be a police inspector in India, and our grandma used to tell us the stories how she used to attend Delhi Masjid, and he moved from one area to the other. He went to Jalandhar as well, and they lived quite a long time in New Delhi. And then at partition time, luckily they knew beforehand. I think it was because he was like obviously with officials and so on. So he got his family and some of his relatives out just a few days before the actual it was going to be the division, and then hence they could just come comfortably cross the border and come to Lahore, and then from there they went to Faisalabad where they were given a house and so on, and they moved in there.
My forefathers, they were based in Firozpur. This Tehsil, Zira, and also different relatives. They were living in different parts over there, Zira, Moga, and there were some villages. Mundi as well. My grandparents, they used to live in that village. They knew that they have to leave the village. Whole village immediately they have killed. Nothing, they couldn't take anything with them, etc. And they just walked, hundreds and thousands of people without any food, without any water.
We were based up in the Sialkot district, which I've mentioned earlier, a village called Duska, and they left there. My father didn't want to leave, and my mother forced him to the last minute. He said, "We're not going to take anything with us, we're coming back here." There were problems. They used to tell a lot of stories which are very painful to go through. Coming from Duska didn't have a station. We had to go to Sialkot, and the journey from there to there, we were attacked a few times in Duska, our family home.
She moved to England in 1965. They moved to England. They just brought me and my older sister. They left my brother behind with my maternal grandparents because they felt that it was going to be easier for them with 2 children of the same sex. And obviously it was very common then and even now to leave your children with the grandparents. They were happy in Southall. They enjoyed living there. There's a big Sikh community even then.
So I came to England in 1971. I was 11-year-old, and my father was already here. He came in 1960, and we settled in Manchester. So I grew up in Manchester. All my education is in Manchester, schooling, college, university. and then I did a master's degree in Essex University, Colchester.
I came to England in 1961, and my journey was on a ship with my family, my father, mother, and my two sisters. It was a very memorable time travelling, first time, from a small town like Ambala, coming to Bombay, and we boarded the ship. The ship was P&O, and we came through Aden and Malta, that sort of way, and eventually landed in Tilbury.
I moved to Essex, to the studio in Harlow, because I was invited to do so by the curator and owner of my studio, Sally Anderson, who I've known for a long time. She really likes my work, and it's been a really good move for me, actually. I'm very happy in this studio.
Marconi in Chelmsford offered me a job. Then I moved from Manchester in 1984. So I've been in Chelmsford since 84. So mere like 24, 25-year-old. And I've been working for the same company, GC Marconi, as an optoelectronics engineer for 40 years.
When I moved here, I settled here in Chelmsford, Essex, and as I said that I then worked in various organizations here for livelihood.
We moved to Chelmsford because of my husband's job. I've seen many changes in Chelmsford, just to say the least. It used to be a small town, not even town, it was like a village, and there are hardly any Asians. I think there used to be like 4 families, and wearing a shalwar kameez was so odd. I was a bit used to like wearing in Manchester, but in Chelmsford it was very odd. And then hardly, not many ethnic minorities at all. But now obviously 25 years on, things have changed tremendously.
I've been to Pakistan a few times. I went to my own village, which was an experience, trying to track where my thanks to my cousin brother, I used to see him a lot, and he drove me the map of a village, and I went there, but I still couldn't find it because things have changed over 50 years or whatever that time that was. I went in 2004 or 5. That's how many years will that make? 53 and about 58, nearly 60 years. The things change. But we met a newly elected MLA there who helped us. And he took us to a very old sweet maker, halwai, who actually turned out to be my father's friend, mate. As soon as I told him my father's name, he says, "Doctor son." I said, "Yeah." And he gave me such love. When I think about it, I go numb. I go very, sensitive, remembering his love.
My father went back to Pakistan a lot, but during my sort of schooling days, I hardly went. I only started going recently because there is some property and land which was my father's from the partition days, trying to sell that.
So I go there regularly, I would say, average once a year or more or less. There, the culture over there has also been changed so much, Same like here.
All in all, when we consider what's happening in different countries, England, while being the land of opportunity, is also the land of living in harmony. Believe it or not, it's a country, it's a nation where we all live in harmony.
We live together peacefully, and this is also the message of, every faith, every culture, live with peace with each other and try to help each other as much as possible.